how much do you need to be wealthy? Wealth is a highly subjective thing. It depends on how you grew up, where you live, how old you are. But today I wanted to look at a few different data sets as well as some surveys to get an idea of what it takes to be wealthy here in the United States. My name is Scott Caulfield. I am a CPA and a CFA charter holder, and I'm the founder of Sophos Wealth Management. So let's start with Schwab. They came out with the 2023 Modern Wealth Survey, and the average respondent said it takes $2.2 million of net worth to be wealthy. Net worth is all your assets minus your liabilities, so how much are you worth overall? So that's kind of an interesting starting point. The Federal Reserve Board came out in 2019 with their survey of consumer finances. It's one of the most comprehensive studies on wealth and income in the United States. And, so the average net worth in 2019 was almost $750,000. Now that is a mean, so it's kind of heavily weighted by those with those multi-billion-dollar net worths. The median net worth was more like $121,000. From that study, if you kind of break down where it takes to be in the wealthiest brackets, you look at the top 1%, which everybody I think would say is wealthy. That's going to take over $11 million to get in that top 1%. The top 5%, just under $2.6 million. And then to get in the top 10% of Americans, it took about $1.2 million. And again, that's 2019 dollars, so you'd presume by 2023 it's a bit higher. Then the website Don't Quit Your Day Job. They did a great job taking some tools so that you can analyze that Fed Reserve Board data. And you look at this table here, and it kind of gives you an idea of, based on your age, where does your net worth put you? Obviously, those who are kind of right at the end of their career, that 55 to 59-year-old, they're typically have the greatest wealth. That kind of makes sense. Right before retirement, your wealth might be at or near a peak. I think this data kind of lines up a bit with that Schwab survey. If you're somewhere above the 90th percentile, so your top 10% of wealth, anywhere from top 10 or top 5, I think a lot of people would kind of consider one of the highest net worth people. And I think a lot of people would call that wealthy. So I think for me, probably somewhere around top 5% would make you truly wealthy or rich. But again, this is so subjective. And it depends on kind of what you need. But I do think it's interesting. You look to get around the 90th percentile, so that top 10%. If you're under 40, it doesn't take nearly as much. You only have to have anywhere from, say, call 600K all the way down to 250K if you're in that 30 to 34 range. But once you get into kind of the mid to late career, you're in your mid to late 40s, to be top 10%, you're looking at $1.5 million up to $2 million for a lot of these age brackets. And I think that Schwab number, that 2.2 million, is not far off from what the top 5% would be. I mean, as we saw on average, that would be just under 2.6 million. So that 2.2 million number is not far off. If you look at it in terms of just income, what kind of income would you need to bring in? This is data from the IRS. So to be top 1%, you'd need just under $550,000 of adjusted gross income. That's for 2020. To be top 5%, you'd need about $220K. And to be top 10%, you'd be looking at household adjusted gross income around $152K. Once again, the same website, Don't Quit Your Day Job, put together a summary of income data. This one's actually from United States Census Bureau, but the income numbers are very close to the IRS data, and they're coming out. You can kind of see the data here, again, by age. Obviously, as you get to kind of that mid to late career, those are the highest earning years. Top 10%, you're seeing somewhere around, say, 160 grand to be kind of top 10% at the peak earnings. To be in the top 1%, you're talking about 500K plus in some cases. So pretty high earnings required there. And I find this last survey, so Bloomberg took a survey of those and basically near the top 10% of income. So they looked at households making over $175,000, and they asked them how rich or poor they currently felt. As you can see here, they kind of broke it down by their overall net worth. And I find it fascinating that even those with, say, $1 million to $5 million net worths, quite a few felt that they were barely getting by or felt poor or very poor. Even those with net worths over $5 million. So these are guys who make minimum $175K and whose household net worths at least $5 million. There's still a decent portion of these who feel like they're barely getting by or are poor. So again, this is a very subjective thing. I mean, you can see those in the $1 to $5 million net worth range. More of those people just merely feel comfortable than actually feel rich. So, I think so much of it depends on you and what you need. I think for a lot of people, the real goal is financial freedom. What do you need to be happiest and most contribute to your well-being? And for a lot of people, that can be non-monetary things. It can be your financial freedom. It can be your time spent with loved ones. It can be your health. And a lot more people, say in that Schwab survey, for example, put those type of things as more important to their sense of wealth than things like maximizing their earnings or having a lot of money. So oftentimes the focus really should be on how can you maximize your finances to meet your personal goals. But anyways, hopefully these data points give you some idea where you stand. If you'd ever like to talk about your situation, feel free to reach out. We can set up a free consultation, and please like and subscribe and share this with anyone you think would benefit. Thanks a lot.